Resuming. Nerd. World. Order. Broadcast. Dinotherms connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, here comes the...
Booyah! What's up with your boy Joe? How's everyone?
And to my other right, coming straight out of Krakoa, weighing in at 178 adamantium-filled pounds, Alfonso X-Man Flores.
I'm the best there is at what I do, bub, and what I do isn't very nice.
And driving in from Gotham City, taking a break from helping out the Batman, we got Devlin, Bat-Mite, Talbert.
I am Vegemite.
How you guys doing today?
So good.
Doing good.
Pretty
doing
good.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. You know, normally I start off by saying, hey, what did you guys do nerdy this weekend? But this time I know because we hung out. Wondercon was awesome. I loved hanging out with you guys. It just rocked. Had a great time.
It was quite organized as far as like there was no security this year, maybe out in the front to let us in, but there was no security inside. And I think maybe they only said like a couple of times all day, put on your mask, but everyone was pretty perceptive to wearing their mask while they were inside, which it kind of irritated me because it seemed like the AC wasn't on and the mask breathing, and then I wear glasses, so it was kind of fogging up my glasses. So that part was irritating me, but it was really nice to be back in some Comic-Con action, just to be around, you know, vendors, you know, cosplayers were out front cosplaying. So that was pretty cool just to see everybody outside. You know, you could tell like everybody hadn't seen each other for a while. It was like a big old family reunion for a lot of cosplayers and people that have been going there for years, because I want to say it's been closed for 3 years. So it's pretty good to go back and you could tell like some of the vendors weren't there. You know, there was more room between, you know, the aisleways, but overall it's one of my funnest cons. I don't know about Alfie and Devlin and Alan, but it's one of my favorite cons. I like going there. It's not as crowded. You can get the same thing you can get at Comic-Con. Like people always ask me like, hey, what's the difference between Comic-Con and Wondercon? Well, the biggest thing that I could say, the only difference is the vendors and everybody's the same. Usually the cosplayers are the same. The only difference is, say, San Diego Comic-Con will have like the Avengers, where WonderCon will have like CW. Don't get me wrong. They're still good actors, right, in their own right. But that's just the kind of celebrities that they get. I mean, we all still watch TV and TV movies and sitcoms. So for us, we enjoy both that side of the celebrities that they get there, and also the main celebrities in Comic-Con. But WonderCon gives you more of an access to see stars and have the opportunity to take pictures with them, and you know, like sign some autographs and pictures signed and stuff like that. So I really enjoy WonderCon.
Yeah, my knees at this point in my life, they can't handle the sheer size that is San Diego Comic-Con. So
Right.
It's nice to have something that's a little bit smaller. Definitely smells better. That's nice too, you know. And I feel like when I'm at WonderCon, I have more of an opportunity to sit there and talk with artists and creators. Whereas in San Diego, it's like boom, boom, boom. They just want to get you out and get to the next person. So it feels more close than other Comic-Cons in a good way, not close like, you're too close to me.
Yeah.
To me, San Diego's become more about Hollywood, you know, and there's less comic book vendors. There's less, you know, there's all the big booths, which are really nice. But I mean, you know, you got to remember what the Comic-Cons are all about. You know, it's about the everyday vendor out there with the brick and mortar stores, you know, being able to showcase and, you know, in the limelight, you know, you have them, you have the artist alley with, you know, the new up and coming artists or established artists who just haven't really made it to the big 3 yet. No, there's not 3. There's a big 2.
Hmm.
So, really appreciate that about that. And I got there just in time for Uncanny X-Men panel. And that was the place that I really wanted to go. I wanted to meet up with Joe and Dukes there. So we all met there. And it was a pretty good platform for somebody of my status. I have status now with my Uncanny X Memes Instagram page, because I was recognizing people that I follow. They were recognizing people that followed me. And, it was so cool because like people were like, "You're the X Memes guy?" And I'm like, yeah. I was surprised. I'm over here being a fanboy about people that I follow, and they're like after me, like they're following me, and I'm like, this is great. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do a service for people, making everybody laugh with, X-Men jokes or, memes and, repurposing of old artwork. It was super awesome for me. I took, I had to do an X-Men trivia game. Man, I missed it by one question. Dukes and Joe were there cheering me on, and I missed it. So, so far, I mean, that's how it started out for me.
The best part of Sunday was pretty much seeing the family, for lack of a better phrase. All you guys rolled up there, and that was awesome. We saw Steven. So we met Bella and Amanda there. So that was great. It was my first time meeting Bella. That was super cool. Just got to walk around. Wes came all the way from Kansas City. Shout out to L7 Cosplay. Now he's also doing the 3D printing, but it was great seeing Wes. We haven't seen him in like 4 years. That's what it was all about for me on Sunday. Joe and I went to a couple of panels. I thought that, one was okay. I thought the other one really didn't speak to what we were looking for out of a panel. Joe has something sarcastic to say. Go for it, bro.
So like the panels, like me and Dukes like to go to panels, and what we like to go to panels is we like to go there and to learn and to understand how to grow our brand and our podcast. The funny thing is, the first panel we went to basically just regurgitate what Alan has been telling me constantly. So it was just weird to hear from somebody else the same thing that Alan's been saying a long time. And basically, it's just like we just need to be more aggressive. We're not aggressive enough. And like I said, with the addition of Alfie, he helps us be more aggressive. And so basically for us, even though we like to walk the floors and we like to meet, the artists that are like in Artist Alley and people that write books, we like to go talk to them and see what they're about. And me and Alan had made some couple connections that we're going to, in the future, have them on the podcast and talk about the stuff that they're working on and their next. So that's going to be pretty cool. So the one thing that we got away from the panels is just be more aggressive. And if you really want something, you got to put in the work. It's never going to be easy, even if you love it.
I had like a cough attack in one of the panels. It was so bad I had to run out. Literally ran out of the panel. Like I leaned over to Joe. I was like, I have to go. I have to go.
Oh, it was bad. Dude, he was like coughing so much. He's like, we got to go. So we go out. We're on the escalator. My man's teary-eyed. His sniffles are there. And he's coughing nonstop because his throat's dry and we forgot to pack the water. And so people were going up the escalators just staring at us. We're like, relax, bro. We're vaccinated, bro. We're good.
Yes. Yeah. The panels, I'll say, to Joe's point, I don't think it was a lot of new information, but I always like the reinforcement. And if nothing else, it tells us we're on the right track. I think the last good panel that we went to was probably, when we saw Jonathan at Geekscape, him and Ian and everything. I think as far as that goes, we kind of walked away like really pumped up and inspired. These panels didn't do that. In fact, Ian, I was listening to, the Geekscape, and he said like he didn't really see any panels that he wanted to go to. And I felt like that was the challenge. Like the panels weren't really that, they really didn't talk to me. Like, for instance, okay, I'm going to whine. I'm going to rant for a moment, okay?
Go ahead.
First of all, we got there in time to have good seats for the Fear the Walking Dead panel. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I went to get Alfonso, Joe had to sit through a Bigfoot panel. And, the show Finding Bigfoot, Discovering Bigfoot, it wasn't that good of footage. And I apologize for Joe for having to sit through that awful Bigfoot footage. It was like 50% Blair Witch. Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't even Bigfoot. It was people saying, "What's that sound? What?"
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Like Blair Witch did that in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yes.
Oh,
so Joe had to sit through that. Okay. Then, biggest disappointment of the con for me. You guys know I love Walking Dead. I am loyal enough to watch Fear the Walking Dead. I didn't watch all of The World Beyond. I'm still into Walking Dead proper. But they had a Fear the Walking Dead panel. So I was hyped. Joe got us seats. We were right in front. I was like in the center so I could stare at Lenny James. Lenny James could stare at me. Go back and forth, right? I was ready. And all of a sudden, bam, Zoom comes up. There's like a Zoom on the screen. And the moderator's like, "Welcome to the Fear the Walking Dead panel." And I still had hope. Okay. I was like, oh, but any second now, the stars are going to walk out. And then, sure enough, bling, 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 bling. It looked like Hollywood Squares. Okay.
Yeah.
I was off for the day. I didn't want to sit in the Zoom meeting, and I didn't want to watch Hollywood Squares.
For real.
I wanted to be able to stare at Lenny James and say, like, okay, tell me about when Morgan was training on that kendo stick. That's what I wanted to do, is ask him those questions. So yeah, that pretty much sums up most of the panels. I know X loved the Uncanny X-Men panel. I'll let you tell us what you loved about that, X.
Yeah, it was moderated by a guy named Dylan Carter. He goes by Warpath Dylan on Instagram. He's a great guy. He has a couple of his own groups and podcasts, and they had a couple people on there from X Reads the Podcast. They had two cosplayers, Michelle Waffalo and Nerd Alert Cosplay. Michelle Waffalo does amazing work. Found out that her mom makes all her cosplays. It was kind of cool. But she's always going to be like Jean Grey or Emma Frost. She went to the Eternals premiere dressed as Angelina Jolie's character and got to meet her. Nerd Alert Cosplay. This guy is amazing. He was there at the con dressed as Weapon X, and he had this whole Weapon X thing behind him that he was popping out of, like busting through a lab, But my favorite cosplay he's ever done, he did a Sinister cosplay, and Mr. Sinister was amazing. And I'm sorry, I can't forget his Omega Red cosplay. This guy goes on and beyond. He is nuts with his cosplays. Then as well, there was an X-Men artist who actually worked on X-Men Evolution. Peter Nguyen is his name, Nguyen, Ngyn. And then there were the big guns. They had Larry Houston, the writer, producer, front runner for the X-Men animated series. I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to him at another con one time, and we just talked and talked and talked. This man, he gave me all the secrets, all the nooks and crannies. Like, why was Warpath there or not Warpath, but Proudstar there in the beginning of the intro, and he wasn't in the episodes at all. Why the Gremlin was in there. It was a little pink guy on the bad guy's side running against the X-Men. They never once showed him. He wasn't even an X-Men character. He was a mutant, but he was a Hulk villain. It was ridiculous. They threw everybody they possibly could in there. They even talked about Pride of the X-Men when they had that pilot, and Wolverine had an Australian accent, and they're like, well, Crocodile Dundee came out. Why don't we make him Australian rather than Canadian? So they were trying to get on that popularity. And what's funny about that is later on we got an Australian guy to play Wolverine. And then the other two, oh my gosh, I gotta look up their names.
It was Eric and Julia.
Eric and Julia Leewald. So those two, they were big time people when it came to executive producing X-Men animated series as well. And what was cool was we had to go back downstairs to get a badge for my son. And while we were walking down there, Joe stopped to take a break. We walked a little bit ahead, and we just ran into them. They were on their way out. We stopped and we talked to them for a good 20 minutes. It was so amazing. They gave us some insight about the new upcoming X-Men animated series for Disney Plus, but sadly we can't talk about that. You know, we had to sign NDAs. No, I'm kidding. It was a verbal agreement, you know, a smile and a nod, and we're like, okay, we get it. But oh my gosh, it was so amazing. I had goosebumps on top of goosebumps. These are people that, you know, not really my childhood, but, you know, they shaped. When I told them, I go, look, thank you, because you made it possible for all my friends to see how great the X-Men are. I've always known by reading the books, and they were going to pick up comic books when the cartoon came out. Then they're like, oh, you're onto something here, you know? So those two were great. And then there was another gentleman there who was in charge of X-Men Evolution. He's also an artist. I picked up some artwork for him. He did, you've probably seen it online. There's like a Breakfast Club X-Men Evolution picture. Oh my gosh. It was all X-Men, and I was super stoked. I was beside myself, and it was so good to have my friends there with me to just, you know, like talk when I couldn't. Oh, forgot one more. There was the Juggernaut cosplay. Been wanting to see this guy forever. This guy is huge. It's like humanoid or human. I can't really pronounce it on Instagram, but I'll put up some pictures when I show this. He is amazing. So what about you guys? What did you think of that panel?
This is what I have a problem with. Like, I'm okay with cosplayers getting up there, but I felt it took away from Larry, Eric, and Julia some of the questions that I really wanted to hear more from those three than a couple of cosplayers. I mean, no disrespect to the cosplayer. I think they do have some good costumes, but for that panel, I felt they're a fan just like we are. I don't need them on that stage. I want people that were talking about the animated series because that's what it was about. That's why we wanted to go there. I didn't want to go there. I've seen her on, I don't know her name. Michelle, is it Michelle?
Michelle Waffalo.
Yeah, I've seen her on the red carpet. Hey, that's cool and all, but we were watching X-Men probably before she was born. And so for me, that's who I wanted to talk to Larry and Eric and Julia. And one of the guys had like an awesome question about how they tackled Christianity with Nightcrawler, who perceives as a demon. And just to hear them tell the story of how hard it was to get that episode out, and that the main producer was like, you have to do it right. If you're not going to do it right, then don't do it. And that was just really cool to hear those kind of stories. And you know, and also to Alfie's point, when Houston was breaking it down, like those cameos that we were seeing that didn't have anything to do with the episode, that was a shout out to all the people that helped make that series continue, because it went up to 4 seasons. I want to say, is it 4 or 5, Alfie?
I believe it's 4.
Yeah, it's 4. So they said the first season that they did, they all got fired. And so when we all started watching it, it got the ratings, and then they called them all back and said, hey, can you make more? Those are the stories that I wanted to hear. I don't want to hear someone, oh, the outfits is nice, and you're on the red carpet, and you get to watch movie premieres when all 4 of us in this chat don't get to see it. I mean, that's cool and all. But I really wanted, you know, more questions towards those 3, because they were very integral in all of our lives growing up. Because when X-Men first came out, nobody knew the X-Men unless true comic book readers. So that just tells you that comic book readers rallied around that TV show for it to keep going. Not the fan that doesn't know anything about X-Men. It was all of us. And Eric, Julia, and Houston was really adamant about letting us know, thank you. And we're like, thank you. And they were so humbled, and they said, without us, there would be no X-Men.
Oh man! And the jackets and the hats they had, they all said previously on X-Men. I'm like, oh, I want to.
Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah, I think we can though. I think you have a website. We can get that.
I got their business card, which is a Sentinel on the front.
Yeah.
Got all the info. I'm gonna go to get myself something there.
Nice.
Shout them out, X. What's the website?
On Twitter, they're at X-Men TAS for the animated series, X-Men TAS. You can email them at xmentas92@gmail.com, or you could also visit xmentas.com. So there's no hyphen. It's just XMENTAS.
That's pretty awesome. They have some really great merchandise. I know Alfonso will be wearing some of it. I'll probably pick up some of the pins because I love getting pins. So yeah, thanks for shouting them out, Ak.
I do want to take a minute. Sorry. Stephen E. Gordon is a gentleman who was the producer, writer, artist for X-Men Evolution. The guy was a great guy. I said talk with him for a little bit too. At his booth later, got a picture with him. I'll post that. It'll be down here somewhere. Yeah, those guys are so great. I can't believe how humble they are. They're grateful to us, and it's like, how? I mean, we're so grateful to you. It's just like so much mutual respect there. And it's nice to be known. It's nice to know that as a fan, you're appreciated. Because sometimes people get too big and they're like, beneath me. You're beneath me. Move on.
To Alfie, when he said I was sitting down, so these two guys decided to go have a conversation with Eric and Julia and take selfies without me. It was like my spider sense went up and I looked and I saw these two guys. It's like, I can't believe these guys. They didn't send me a text. Hey, yo, you need to get over here. They knew where I went to go sit. It wasn't that far from them. Selfish. We
didn't even know they were coming. They did a drive-by and we're like, whoa.
I would have called you over, Joe.
Thank you, Devlin. I appreciate that.
No, normally I could come up with a good excuse, but we were just so excited. And initially I was like, Alfonso, do you want to get a picture? And they're like, yeah, sure. I was just supposed to take a picture with Alfonso. But then Alfonso's like, no, wait. And he does like, we can get a picture together. And then, at that exact moment, Joe walks up and he was just like, betrayal.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was like Justin Timberlake and Black Eyed Peas, dude. Where's the love?
We would have texted you, but we were too busy on our hands and knees bowing, saying, we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Yeah. And my thing was, they were headed to their car. They were to their hotel or their car. Yeah. They were done for the day, but they were still so enthusiastic to talk to us.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. You guys have had so much success in your industry, yet you still take time to talk to us. It's just so impressive.
Larry Houston was the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Shaking our hands. Hey, thank you for everything. Because of you, I was just like, man, it's just crazy. Like we're big fans and they're the fans of us. It was pretty cool. It was a unique situation. I appreciate it.
So let me throw one final WonderCon question out to you guys, which is, we're all nerds, which means we ended up picking something up here, something up there, something we didn't need, and it probably has no place for in our house. What was your favorite find?
I'm going to have to say my Hot Wheels X-Men Blackbird, because it was originally released in blue, and I got it in black. It's gorgeous.
How much was it?
Okay, it's everywhere right now. You get this for $50.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I think there was a guy watching the booth, and he's like, I don't know. I think it's $7. And I'm like, here it is. Boom, bam, I'm gone.
That is awesome, dude. Sleeping on the jet.
Nice.
Bat-Mite, what'd you find?
I found Bat-Mite. This little Bat-Mite figure. It's like this little soda pop figure. I just happened to be over in small press with my daughter. And she goes, Daddy, look, it's Bat-Mite. And I was like, what? And I looked down, and sure enough, there's this little soda pop can that has a Bat-Mite figure in it. And I am so stoked to have my little avatar with me. Awesome. Cost me all of like $5.
It's perfect for the podcast, dude. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Joe.
If you can look in the picture in the background. Oh. And so people that can't see it, so I had to buy it. It's a picture of Andrew Garfield saving Mary Jane with Emma, like, no, Gwen, sorry. I don't know why I said Emma. Gwen. That's Emma Watson. That's right. Yeah. I was like, but it's Gwen in the background, and she's hugging him as, to me, that was one of the scenes that hit me hard when I watched Spider-Man from Home, because I'm a huge Andrew Garfield fan. I think he's one of my favorite Spider-Mans. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tobey Maguire's an OG. I like him a lot. And Tom Holland's pretty good, but Andrew Garfield, I feel is like sometimes the middle child never gets love, and to me, that's the middle child. And I'm a huge fan of that guy, and that scene hit me. It resonated with me, so I was like, I had to get it. And then I got like, me and Alan both like All Might, so I got like an All Might bottle opener for when I drink some beer.
Nice.
Let's go.
Hey, I do want to point out one other thing. So my boy C-Jack from C-Jack's Art World, he did this Brotherhood of Evil Mutants print a while back. And I was like, I was going to go down the street and buy it from him personally, but I'm like, I'm going to wait till I get it from you at a con. And I finally got it, man. It's got Sabretooth, Avalanche, Toad, Mystique, Blob, and Pyro. And he even gave me a Mystique sticker. And I cannot wait to put that on something. I got to find something around here to put that on. But C-Jack's Art World on Instagram, I'll put something down here as well. But he is great.
For me, there were a few things. I'm going to give a few shout outs. So Joe and I were walking around sweating like we were in the sauna, and a gentleman started talking to us, just not about his comic book, but just in general. How you guys doing? If you enjoyed the con, stuff like that. And it's Mr. Jack Foster. Name of his comic book is Gun. Nice. The thing that really interested me about this comic book is it has the villain's perspective, and it starts off from like he wants to be a villain, he works his way up, and it's that journey. That's what it talks about. So we told Jack that we were gonna review the comic book on the podcast. We're gonna do that in the future, and he's actually coming out with volume 3 soon of his series. So we're trying to get him on the podcast here. So that'll be really cool. Also, I was walking around and a gentleman asked me if I read books. And I was honest. No, I do not. I told him it might make me sound illiterate, but I don't read books. And he was nice about it. He's like, well, I'm sure that you watch videos or something. That's okay. And I was like, nah, I just don't read. And so he had this intimidating book. This here, this is a dictionary, bro. Okay, don't ask me if I read and then hand me a dictionary. But there's something that really caught me when I was talking to him. His dad basically said, like, hey, this is my son's work. I'm just here to support him. And that's how I want to be when my son has his ambition. Is that like, I'm here to support him. I'm going to take my weekend. I could be chilling, but I'm here to support my son. So I promised Mr. Jason Michael Primrose that I would actually read let's see how many pages this is, Mr. Primrose, because I can't believe you expect me to read 699 pages, Mr. Primrose. I haven't read 699 anything, even 699 words in this entire decade. But you never know. I may. I'm going to, because I told him by the time we get to Comic-Con, I was going to read. The name of his book is 2052 Time and Salvation. So I told him I was going to, read the entire book. He was actually in one of the panels that Joe and I had watched the previous day. And like I said, he was really nice. He actually took a picture with me and Joe. Yeah. And his dad, like I said, if you're a dad and you're supporting your kid, you're taking your weekend, I'm going to support your kid too. I love that. Yeah, for sure. Also got a shout out to my boy Until Death. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah. So that's, basically what he does is he takes things that are traditional, and he gives them sort of a modern flair, whether it be adding a hip hop element to, Disney stuff, or more of a modern punk edge, or he might take like wrestling stuff and mix it up a little bit. So you can actually find him at elcapitanic.com. LCap. I just call him LCap because his website name's incredibly long. It was really great to see him. He's always really cool. I see him at a lot of conventions, and I love his stuff.
My buddy John actually picked up a couple of pieces from that El Capitan Inc. guy. I don't know if you saw him there, but the Mickey Mouse Michael Jordan, where he's doing the famous dunk pose. Oh yeah, he picked up that piece, and then he also did one where it was Spider-Man doing a dunk as well. He picked up both those pieces.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah.
Alan likes to do the political, like what El Capitan does, bro. He takes like the innocent stuff and puts a little street swag on it.
Yeah.
Nice. So like that's what I like about it. Like it takes you back to the hood.
Street swag. See, Joe just does it so well. My number one acquisition. Every time I walk around booths, I look and I see Deku, I see Bakuga, and I say, do you have any All Might? And they say no. And so I was walking around and I found finally an All Might action figure that I can stand up. I love All Might because he never gives up. He keeps moving forward. He's there to inspire other people. And I'm like, dude, that's what I love about All Might is he smiles in the face of adversity. He smiles for those who can't smile. So I was like, wow, I finally found some All Might. That made my day right there is when I found a piece of All Might. So that was my number one thing.
Let me quote All Might real quick. I am here. Hey, real quick, Devlin, that one artist, the pirate guy. What was his name again?
Nigel Sade, S-A-D-E. Yeah. So this guy has been going to the cons for decades, really. So you can check him out on Instagram and Facebook. The Art of Nigel Sade, S-A-D-E. Dude's amazing. He's got these really cool concept pieces where you'll see like the famous ships from all of our favorite sci-fis. They'll be in like a upward profile kind of position with really cool art behind them. Guys, stuff is great. And he's always showing up to con dressed like a pirate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And how many pieces of his work do you own?
One somewhere.
Could have sworn it was more.
No, it's just one. It's just one.
We're always about to buy something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Alan, after you read that book, let me read it because I want to make sure we both read that book before we get to Comic-Con. Little motivation for you to read it first.
Because if you're waiting on me to finish reading, bro, like you know that I'm going to finish it like a day before the con.
Yeah, no doubt. You probably, no doubt. You probably, if you do that.
If I do that. No, I'll finish it. I'm going to start reading, like, let's say, I'll mathematically work it out. So, like, okay, there are exactly 98 days until the con. If I read this many pages. Yeah, I'll read it, bro, and then I'll get it to you.
Cool.
Yeah, so overall, I have to say that WonderCon was pretty good. Having gone to WonderCon, does this make you excited for San Diego Comic-Con, or do you feel like WonderCon's just overall a better experience?
I think Comic-Con, it's going to be in the summer, so the mask was so brutal with no AC, and we all know San Diego Comic-Con never has the AC on, and it's just going to be straight hot summer. And sorry, Devlin, you will be smelling some stank because San Diego Comic-Con is known for that. It's just going to be stink on ya. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to like probably networking some more. I think that's what I'm looking forward to is hitting up the artist alley again and see, like anybody that's a Kickstarter or something going on that maybe have a volume of comics already out and they have a new project. So I'm looking forward to connect and networking and meeting more people that way. I think I've changed my whole goal for Comic-Cons now is just to go out there and network and meet people and to grow together. Cause everybody can help each other grow. And so like, that's my mission now, not so much seeing celebrities anymore, but more so like just connecting with the average person that's trying to do what we're trying to do and, spread love, nerd fandom stuff.
Me personally, I'm all about the photo ops. You know what I mean? Just so you know, if you're out there dressed as an X-Men character, I'm getting a picture with you. All right. And if your costume's cool, otherwise, I'm still going to get a picture with you. I'm going to get a picture with you. I'm going to get a picture with Devlin with you. I'm going to get a picture with Dukes with you. I'm going to get a picture with Joe with you. I'm shooting you. I'm shooting all you. I'm like Deadpool.
Yeah.
But the picture, man. And I think I did a better job this year than I've done most, where I get the people's information to where I can actually tag them in it. Because I mean, they put a lot of hard work into it, and they do a lot of good stuff. So I should definitely, be more obligated to share with the world who they are. But yeah, there were some amazing cosplays this year. You're right, Anaheim didn't smell bad at all, but San Diego is going to be a different story. But just so you know, next thing's going to be coming to you from the NWO, baby.
Mm-hmm. Well, the X-Men, the guy that did the Wolverine, he had the Weapon X and the whole get up. I mean, that's the guy that was on the panel. I mean, don't get me wrong. Him and Michelle's cosplays are off the chain. His Sinister is freaking dope.
Yeah, it's Nerd Alert cosplay.
Interestingly, I started following him and I didn't realize that because I mean he does like Mortal Kombat stuff and it's really good. He does Street Fighter, and it's really good. But I didn't realize that his X-Men stuff was so good. So yeah, that Weapon X that he did. Who thought? Obviously, he did. Like, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to create an entire structure to enhance my cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, that's one of those things where people are constantly evolving the art of cosplay. You know, some people might add like Master Jedi does an incredible job of building mechs for Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like everyone looks at like, okay, what's my niche? How can I create my own style in cosplay? And him doing that, creating that backdrop was just sick.
It was awesome.
Speaking of cosplays too, real quick, I should give my daughter a shout out. She dressed up as William Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's. She's not one of the animatronic things, but it's kind of like William Afton, I guess, is the person who kind of fixes the animatronics. And at one point, gets stuck in one because it got all wound up in the gears. But to me, it was like such an obscure thing, and I'm like, she's telling me everybody knows about the bears and the rabbits that are all animatronics killing everybody. I go, but people are going to know you. It's like so obscure. And we're walking around and people are like, oh, can I get a picture with you? Can I get a picture with you? I was like, what? I was taking a picture with Batman. I dropped my stuff on the ground and she went to go pick it up for me. And 3 little girls were standing around her all giddy. And I'm like, are you guys wanting to take a picture with her? They're like, oh, yes, please. We'll wait. It's okay. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. She did such an amazing job. And it was kind of a simple throw together outfit that, we did in a week because, we didn't really have a lot of notice for this, I guess. We did, but, we kind of put it off to the end. And then my son, he dressed up as Iron Man. He put on his classic standard Halloween Iron Man suit. And, he went around the con. He was taking pictures with every single Avenger he possibly could. He got together a couple of Iron Men. He fought Skeletor. Man, kid he had such a blast. But about 12:30, he was like, when's mommy picking me up? I'm so tired. It's so loud.
Yeah. Devlin, what are your thoughts on hitting San Diego Comic-Con? You think you're interested more now because of WonderCon?
No. At max, if I'm gonna go, honestly, it's just gonna be to the outside stuff. They do such a great job of like encompassing the entire city, the entire downtown San Diego area for Comic-Con, that for me, because there's so much room to like move around and like not feel like I'm crowded in, it's a better experience. Like I have a better time walking around out there. So I may go down one of those days, but I'm not going on the floor. I know that for sure.
We always ghost Thursdays.
Yeah, we call it ghosting the con. So the first day, Thursday. Yeah. So put it in your books now. Alfonso, get the day off. I'll get the day off too. Yeah, we go down there Thursday. We ghost the con and walk around like one time I was standing for a Walking Dead exhibit. I didn't even go on that, I don't think. But anyway, I was standing in Walking Dead and ended up on a Walking Dead commercial because I was ghosting the con. And they have a cool carnival thing there. Like the last time Comic-Con was open, not Comic-Con special edition, but the Comic-Con before that, they turned an area into like one of the scenes from Shazam, like the carnival scene. It's so great. You can have so much fun just ghosting the con. But what I will say, get there early because it gets hot, and make sure that if there's like something you really want to see, like like I'm a Game of Thrones fan or Shazam fan or Walking Dead fan, get there early because by the time you get through that first exhibit, everything else is super crowded. It's like a 2.5 hour wait. Yeah.
But I like it because it makes it to where you don't have to buy Comic-Con tickets to enjoy the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can meet celebrities out there too. I ran into Chickless out there one year. He was just out looking at one of the things. I'm like, dude, selfie.
You're not even going to talk about the multiple times that you've met Kevin Smith outside of Comic-Con? Down in San Diego at the time of Comic-Con, but not on the floor of Comic-Con?
Yeah, back when K-Rock had the Kevin and Bean show for their morning show, they would go there every year and they would do a morning show about 6 a.m. I'd roll out of bed, I'd climb over there and, just hang out with them. And, I would meet everybody, but Kevin Smith was my favorite, so it's like every time Kevin Smith was there, I was there getting pictures with him. I think I walked down the 7-Eleven with Bean from Kevin and Bean. Mike, who else? Mike Catherwood and Dave the King of Mexico. So if anybody of you guys listen to that show one time, you'll know who I'm talking about. Will Ferrell, I met him out there. Seth Green. There's just
Nick
so
Swartzen.
Swartzen. Oh man. Oh, Aziz Ansari too. Met him in the elevator.
Yep.
I felt kind of bad. I interrupted his phone call.
We also saw Yaya Yin or Yayan.
Yaya Han.
Yaya Han, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We got a good picture with her. She was awesome. So gracious.
She was eating lunch and she didn't mind.
Yeah. Like, I'm so sorry, but we're not going to get very many opportunities.
Cool.
Yeah. You guys, when dressed up as Dudley Boys, that was the best cosplay ever because it was so simple. You guys look so perfect and you got so much recognition. I mean, I was pretty much cameraman that day, just shooting pictures left and right. It was great.
Yeah, that was one of those where I just looked at the Dudley Boys one day and I said, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, I was totally against it. I was like, ain't no one going to know us, man. No one's going to know us. And sure enough, man, what was the biggest, I was actually talking about that today because one of my drivers, Mike, shout out to Mike. We were talking because he's been watching old school WWE
Right.
and we're talking about WrestleMania. And I was like, yeah, we went as the Dudley Boys. And I was telling them how Devon and Bubba both acknowledged our cosplay. Bubba on Twitter and Devon on Instagram acknowledged us as the Dudley Boys and said we did him proud. So that was huge for us.
That was good. And what Ziggler said, he had to do a double take when he saw you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. He's like, wait a minute. I think I fought you guys before.
For me, I feel like WonderCon didn't get me more excited for Comic-Con because I know the difference now.
Yeah.
WonderCon is a fun, intimate experience where you get to hang out with your friends and you can actually walk together in a group and you can stop and have a conversation. You know, to Joe's point earlier, you can stop and like talk to the artists and get to know them and find out about what they're doing and make connections. Comic-Con's just a beast, man.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you're being herded and, you know, we get there at like 3:00 in the morning and we're sprinting through the halls and we're getting wristbands so that we can possibly get an autograph. It's so hectic and so overwhelming. Yeah, it's cool. You don't even want to go on the panels because you have to stand in line for like, let's say, if you're lucky, 45 minutes, but most people like 4 hours to see a panel. And so Comic-Con, yes, we're going to be there. We hope we see everybody. There are friends and family that we're looking forward to seeing again, but I just feel like WonderCon is probably my favorite as far as the size, the level of panels that they have there. Normally this year was kind of stinky, but normally the panels that they have there, it didn't make me want to go to Comic-Con more. It just made me appreciate what WonderCon has to offer.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, one thing I do want to point out too, you guys, one of you mentioned that, you know what, the feeling I love about WonderCon, there's always like a dance party out by the fountain, right? There's always music blaring. There's people that are just having such a great time. And, you know, nobody's getting in each other's face about anything. It's a blast. I mean, Aquaman did get mad at me when I asked him what kind of fish it was, but other than
WonderCon, you're not going to have anybody stab anybody else with a mechanical pencil in Hall H.
It's interesting because I remember going to WonderCon years ago, and Hip Hop Trooper would just be standing around with his boombox, waving at people, taking pictures with people, and I feel like he started that whole dance party.
He totally did.
Yeah,
he totally did.
But now, I hate to say the younger kids, like we're the old dudes, but I'm gonna say it. The younger kids kept that tradition going.
Oh yeah, it was cool.
And he started that, and that's really cool. That like he started this years ago, and people continue it. You know, that's what makes Wonder. Yeah, you're right, Alfonso. That's a tradition that carried through for so many generations, and that dude started it. Now he's in Atlanta. You know, he's probably at Dragon Con all the time, but that legacy continues for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I bet you he's doing it there.
Speaking of which, we all gotta hop on a plane and go to Dragon Con. My sister will let us sleep in her basement
Nice.
It's a nice basement, guys. Okay, it's a nice basement. She'll let us sleep in the basement. We can go to Dragon Con. It's very nice. So we need to check out Dragon Con sometime.
Hey, as long as you don't hear no claws in the pipes.
Well, gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. It's been really great talking about WonderCon. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined.
Booyah!